we have a guest from Kosminski University to tell us the latest updates on the G7 summit. Welcome, sir, to TVP World.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So we have to understand that G7 meeting in this year is quite different than it was previously, because previously also to the group of G7 joined usually Russia. In this year we talk a lot, European leaders, the leaders of the biggest countries, talk a lot about the situation in Russia and Ukraine, and what is the possible consequences from the perspective of the humanitarian and also economic point of view. We have to know that it's all six main topic on this G7 meeting. The first one was Africa and the changes of the climate, yes, and the development of the Africa. Second topic, which is also quite important for the world, but not exactly for Poland so well, yes, at the moment from our economic perspective, so it's situation of the Middle East. Yes, of course, we know what happened in Israel, yes, but it do not affect it dramatically our economy from this perspective. Of course, there's a huge humanitarian drama, but from the perspective of economy, the more important cases are what's happening in Ukraine, yes, and the perspective of also the new part of the sanction which is put in by United States on Russia, and basically the impact of those sanctions which happened on Thursday is that the Russia stock exchange have to be closed. There are also three more topics. The one is migration, so how European Union and how the whole biggest and wealthiest countries in the world will manage with the problem with the migration. Then we have Indo-Pacific and security of our economy. So it's basically more connected to what happened in China and how European and world economy can compete with Chinese economy.
Right.
And
can I pause you there for a second, Professor? Before we go on, I just want to talk about two things that you've already touched on. The first is Russia and the effect of sanctions on Russia. Now, connected to that is the decision, as I understand it, by the G7 countries to provide Ukraine with $50 billion of new financing, which is going to be leveraged against the interest earned on seized Russian national assets. How much support has this idea had within the G7 group? So,
first we should think that it's this idea of supporting with the money of Ukraine and also putting the higher on Russia is quite clever solution, because from one side Russia have less money to financing the whole war, then you have from the world. I do not think that this is the last packages money which we have to support Ukraine. Yes, but we paid for that our security, of course. So it helps Ukraine probably for the next year of the providing all the war and all by necessary equipment for the war.
Right. Okay.
So I think the cost of the money for 1 year in that case.
Right. That's fine, and hopefully there'll be more coming along later. But it does show some kind of unified approach towards Russia amongst the G7, and I'm not sure we can say the same about the approach to China amongst the G7. Seems to be a bit of a difference between the US, which is taking a rather hawkish stance, and Europe, who seem to be less willing to come together and present a united front against China. What's your view on that?
So if we do not know what happened, basically everything happened because of the money. Yes, so basically for US economy, it is easier to cut from both of these ideas, from China and Russia. It is much easier. From European countries and European Union, it's much harder, because our economy is still dependent from Russian economy based on the energy. Second thing, when we think about China, there's a lot of China still. We didn't move the produce to Europe. that produce doesn't back to Europe. So basically, without the production and the workforce from China, the basic our economy will have also the problem, which we saw on the pandemic, whereas the cutting of the whole the logistic, yes, whole the shipment from China to Europe, we have a problem with producing cars, with producing computers, with everything.
Right.
The most important thing is not what's happening there, but is where European Union economy should be. Because we know that United States go to high technology and computers and software, yes, and also artificial intelligence and all the application. China goes from the production and they produce the cars. Chinese electric cars are currently what we can produce in Europe, and even Tesla can produce, yes. And the question is, where is the place of the Europe, and what perspective is missing on this meeting, because the European Union didn't answer for the, and the countries from Europe didn't answer for the question where else should be the place of Europe in the modern, in the future world.
Yes, which is somewhat disappointing considering the G7 is supposed to be the group of most advanced economies. But, you know, we talk about China and the European response to it. I mean, China and Hungary have already agreed on establishing an electric vehicle facility within Hungary. I mean, that'll bypass the tariffs, won't it?
Yes, of course. I know also that Polish factory is there also some kind of discussion with the Chinese companies. We have also to understand that it's put it on the new taxes from European Union on the Chinese automotive company. And this is quite weird construction, because as you read this documentation, you see that European Union put a different type of the tax, how company will cooperate with European Union and how they cooperate with a Chinese government. So, for example, right, companies have lowest taxes, and the other companies have much higher, up to 40%.
Understood. Okay, well, you know, as we say, it is coming to an end. The meeting is coming to an end at midday Central European time today, and I'm sure we'll have plenty of time to dissect what has happened. Thank you very much for joining us today, Professor. Have a good day, sir.
Thank you very much for your invitation.
Thank you. Bye-bye.